Islam family, special day today, going into the night. I need everybody's all eyes and ears on deck. The show today, weapons of mental destruction. How it happened and how we lost our way. These are things that need to be discussed, and there's things that need to be thought about. So, give me a few moments. I'll explain all in detail. Islam family, peace and blessings. Um, there are some things that a lot of people don't really take into consideration. But I'm realizing every day that we have to learn something new every day. So, I'm going to first start off giving honors to every Moorish American out there, all the ones in the chat, everyone who has desire for the truth. And I'm going to start off with the Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day. To His Holy Prophet, Joel, Ameen. Peace and blessings, family. I see we have 4 people in the chat. Diamond Shard, peace and blessings. Gib, the cat next door, peace and blessings to you. And everyone who is going to be tuning in. The discussion today is mental destruction, weapons of mental destruction. And I'm going to start off by saying that all of this has been going on for over hundreds of years. This situation that we're in right now started in 1779. Declassification, slander, defamation of character, denationalization, putting a specific people in power, and putting specific people over another people to declassify and teach hate. But we all know that Washington, D.C. is not the nation's capital. The people must understand that the life that we live is all based on false information and indoctrination. And I'm saying this because we all have to understand what the situation and conditions that we faced. Even a newborn baby does not know what's going on, but the mother and father have an idea. But there's so much lies and deceit to the point where people who are supposedly have a nationality are being denationalized. I want the people to know this much, that in 1779, this is where all this indoctrination came in. The school system, the food, the drink that we drink, everything, the chemtrails in the sky, the self-hatred, and everything that we all are so-called accustomed to. But what people fail to realize is that the European powers that be cause a big confusion amongst the so-called Negro, blacks, and coloreds, Afro-American, African-American, so-called Puerto Rican, so-called Guam, etc., etc. So this is where the problem starts. It all started when this nation was being developed by Moorish people. We already had Los Angeles, we had New York, we had Chicago, we had America, Al-Moroccan, Al-Morocca, you know what I'm saying? Al-Moroccan. These are things that is hidden from the public. And the main people who are involved in this situation is the innocent bystanders who have no idea what's going on, but they're constantly being persecuted, just like so-called black people. So-called Latino Hispanics, so-called Chicanos, so-called white people who have no idea what's going on, and they suffer the same defamation of character, and on top of that, they were denationalized too. But I'm not here to cause friction between anybody. I'm here to expose the truth. The truth is, let's look at it from a perspective of the so-called ship called, what's that ship called? Titanic. All those people died because of the simple fact that Rothschild and Rockefeller switched the boats' names, and they want to take over the banking system all over the world, and they succeeded. But what people fail to realize is that this banking system is all throughout the world. So they have a hand in Asia, they have a hand in Africa, they have a hand in all over the world. And what ended up happening was, after the Moorish conquest of civilizing America as a nation in 1787 with the Peace and Friendship Treaty and giving Europeans a 50-year mandate, all this corruption has came into an existence because of simple the fact that not only the so-called black people did not honor their forefathers and mothers because they were classified as Negro, black, and colored, but the so-called white people who came here from Europe to the eastern shores of a Mexum, which is this side of Africa, which is America, is they took away their family names and took upon names that are supposedly European names. And what ended up happening was when the Moorish Americans got denationalized by George Washington, big time Mason, you know what I mean, created some type of so-called white supremacy. But I know a lot of people don't agree with what I'm saying, but I will express to you in detail that Mount Washmore or something like that, those are not the founding fathers. Those are the founding people who created the Second Continental Congress under Rome, which is involved with a 10-mile radius, which is Washington, District of Columbia. It has nothing to do with Colombia in South America. It's a sovereign entity that operates under Council on Foreign Relations, which means that it has no connection to the United States of America whatsoever. So what ended up happening was the Missouri Compromise to create this union is to indoctrinate the people and create a so-called civilized government to be able to indoctrinate the people with falsehood. It put the people in power and put abolishment to slavery. But what they failed to what the common people failed to realize, that Abraham Lincoln, who was a president, but prior to him being a president, he was a lawman in Chicago. And Spencer versus Dungy case was one of those situations that William Dungy was classified as a Negro. Now, all this land belongs to the Moorish indigenous people, not the so-called white people, not the Europeans, because they signed the treaty, and the Europeans not only signed the treaty, but they signed the Constitution to agree. So with that being said, family, I want you all to keep an open mind and do the research. Rothschild, Rockefellers, Jekyll Island, the Knickerbockers of the New York Knicks, the World Trade Center disasters, that was all orchestrated by the Rothschild Rockefellers. It has nothing to do with Osama bin Laden or the World Trade Center of Saudi Arabia. A lot of this stuff was orchestrated in a movie called A Long Kiss Goodnight. There are some other movies that expose a lot of things, such as McDonald's, how Ray Kroc took over McDonald's, the McDonald brothers, and had the Masons and Jewish community get involved and taking over the business and creating it like it is now. We have a different perspective that the so-called white power structure have automatically been in existence after the denationalization of the Moors, and that was on. So now we have a situation, fast forward, from the time that European slaveholders owned slaves They did everything they could to humiliate them and denationalize them and become chattel property. Chattel property is what we are today. A group of people, regardless of what your ethnicity is, what your nationality is, whether you're nationalized or whether you're a U.S. citizen or a naturalized citizen. Because what ended up happening is when they create this union, they create a democracy to denationalize every foreign that comes here from Europe, India, Africa, so on and so on. And there's no one I know that has dual nationality. And I'm saying this for a reason, because it's simple the fact that now the people who are being denationalized when they become U.S. citizens, they're now 14th Amendment citizens. Because the United States government corporation does not recognize nationality. As long as you're the people of the Constantine Pope of Rome, and long as you're under the Christian black codes and, Jim Crow, modern day Jim Crow, you know what I'm saying? 14th Amendment citizens don't mean nothing anymore. It never did from the beginning, because the simple fact that they wanted to create 3/5 of a person, which denationalized a person to, instead of being Moorish American, which is a nationality and the religion is Islamism, there's 2/5 already been taken already. I need y'all to understand that as a people can overthrow a government such as IRS. IRS is just a corporation. It's all unconstitutional to be taxing people. This new deal that was being signed by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, may I mind you, Franklin Delano Roosevelt is on the 10-cent headpiece. And yeah, he dropped a dime on us, big time. And what ended up happening was all the gold that was taken away, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali told the people to put them in post office got boxes so they can keep their gold. May I mind you, this green and white currency, this U.S. government note, it really has no power to begin with. Number one, it's not even backed up by gold. So everything I'm saying to you all is all factual and truth. Do you realize when you look at your birth certificate, it does not state your nationality? It does not state your ethnicity. Do you realize when you feel that tangible birth certificate, it feels exactly the same thing as a birth certificate? That Social Security card says USA is not even true. Because the Social Security card 9-digit number, family, is the actual number to your estate. And they're auctioning off your Social Security number and the red number behind it, which is a number that's linked to a banking account on Wall Street in the Federal Reserve Bank. So the people who own the Federal Reserve Bank are the ones who own the people who have a birth certificate. No one's free. Just because you're born here does not make you a citizen. I understand that Brother Malcolm X spoke on that. He said that, but he was camelbacking on what Prophet Noble Drew Ali said in the oral statements. That's why he's known as El Hajj Malik El Shabazz. The L is a Moorish name. Right? But we all have to understand the reason why the coronavirus was created in a laboratory and was paid in China by the European powers that be to create this planned pandemic. It was created this idea came into existence over 200 years ago. right? So in order for them to set out a plan, they have to discuss it at a round table in a think tank. 13 family bankers. I can't name them all, but I'm going to give you a few. Drop a few hints. Rothschild, Rockefellers, the Bundy family, the Collins, the Lee family out of China, and so on and so on and so on. So these families are the ones that are connected to the Cardinal and the Pope of Rome, and also connected to the Masonic Order of Freemasons and the Eastern Stars. Now, the whole compass and square demonstration, and I'm going to express that to you all. The compass, it draws circles around our passions and desires to keep your conduct in bounds of righteousness. The square they use to keep the lines, to measure our lines to keep our conduct square. The G in the middle of the compass and square is geometry, which we use in mathematics to be able to navigate to and fro to civilized nations. Those signs and symbols was given and to the Europeans to keep them honest. But it turned into some type of corruption because the 33rd degree, you must acknowledge Lucifer, Satan, devil, dragon, and beast. They have a secret handshake. Only Masons know, supposedly. But I'm here to tell you that I had a Mason greet me with a Masonic handshake, which I already was aware of it. But I'm here to expose all this information because, number one, I'm definitely Moorish. I only know the secrets, certain secrets to the Masonic order because I've been studying this for quite some time. And there's certain things that they can only speak about. Water freezes at 32 degrees. So freezing means you're turning something into a solid that you can't penetrate. That means there's certain limited information that ones could speak about. But all the while they're wearing a Moorish fez on their head that says Mecca, El, which is E-L, or Bay, B-E-Y, which is all Moorish names. Alhambra, which means Moorish palace. Mecca. You know? These are things that y'all need to look into. All these fezzes to the tassel 18 inches don't swing freely. And the reason for this is because they only limited to what they can speak to the people. But whether the people know it or not, these same Masons that have the Masonic order, whether it be Scottish Rite, British Rite, are all connected to the Rothschild Rockefellers. And the indoctrination comes in the school system where they don't even teach you the truth. That's also being ran by Rockefeller and Rothschilds. The school system. When they say U.S. history, they tell you what you want to know, but they only give you a small portion of the truth. They don't tell you the information I'm giving you right now. But I need the people to understand there's no such people as a black people or a white people. These people, those are crayons, those are misnomers. But I have some information to speak to you all about because of the simple fact that as a Moorish American, I have to teach the people The Negro blacks and colors need to stop saying that they're African American. So-called Negro blacks and colors need to understand that they have nationality, and the name that we are considered as Moors. But I'm going to give you secret information that the Rothschild Rockefellers loved George Washington, and he's the one. These Europeans are the ones who are carrying out what George Washington said, and these are his words. George Washington on the Moors speaks about the Moors. He says, I quote, "If we agree to take the fezzes and turbans off the Moors' heads, and remove the sandals from their feet, and enforce severe punishment, and also to swear death oath between ourselves to the religiously and faithfully not to allow anyone to teach the Moorish children who they really were or who their forefathers were, and only allow the Moorish children to be taught that they are truly Negroes, black people, and colored folks." I can't make it up. So George Washington is the one who carried out this demonstration. He swore a death oath. And because he said that, every Mason and Easter Star have to swear to this death oath. To not tell the Moorish children who they truly were, but they're truly Negro, black, and colored people. This is what he said. I have a problem when a person destroys humanity and took Europeans out of the Dark Ages and then turn their backs on us after we civilized them in the year of 711. Taught them everything. Taught them science, mathematics, soaps, because they didn't know how to take a bath. They were exposed from not taking a bath. They were stinky and funky. They had poor hygiene. You know what I'm saying? We had to teach that bestiality was wrong. We had to teach the Europeans that homosexuality was wrong. So, with that being said, family, I just want y'all to know that this information I'm giving to you is very important. Moorish Americans are pretty much the only people who expose this information. But I need y'all to understand, my people who call themselves black, stop calling yourself black. Because that makes you inferior to the so-called white people. When you call them white, you're saying that you're superior to them. That's what I need y'all to understand. Europeans are the seed of they're Edomites. Esau happens to be their father. Europeans didn't come on the scene and they're only 3,000 years old, 6,000 years old perhaps. 3,000 years old. Asiatic Moors are over 10,000 years old. Do you understand that the history that Moorish people have been burnt by Europeans because they didn't want us to know who we are? When they talk about Moors, they talk about Moors in Spain like we just took over Spain. That's it. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I need everybody to understand before one start getting educated and being taught, do you realize that the children are just plain rich financially? They uphold to a state that is being governed by another people. That every time you go to school, they pull out for your fiduciary. You work hard till your head turn gray. You go play a debt grip, which is a mortgage, and you don't own a house because a slave can't own property. I mean, let's just be honest. The bank don't have any money to begin with. These are the things that's very important, family. People talking about I got money in my pockets. You know what I'm saying? That's a dead note. No value. So let me ask you all this question. If you got $1,000 in the bank, right? Can you convert that to gold? And if you can convert that to gold, where do you go to do it? Do you realize that a lot of people are suffering through PTSD, through constant harassment, defamation of character, seeing their fathers being sodomized and their mamas being raped, or fathers and mothers being lynched in the South, and they're still getting lynched? Wow. Do you realize that only reason why a lot of people end up passing a carnal form is because their bodies end up missing and being thrown in an alligator pit of that swamp in the South? That's why people were not found. But did you also know that the people who put or want to be a donor for their intestines, all that stuff is not given to the common people? Do you know that's given to the Rothschild Rockefeller so that way they can stay live longer? They can keep their youth. You know, they can keep reproducing themselves because their time is up, family. They're not going to be here for too long. And once the banking system crashes, that means all the banking systems crash all over the world. That's why they're doing Bitcoin. This is why they're doing Bitcoin. Because the US dollar has no value. And I'm just going to be honest with you. The question is, everything that you have learned in school, to all my adults out there, to all my brothers and sisters who are adults out there, regardless of what ethnicity, whatever, what have you learned in school and how has that prepared you for the future? But to be a slave to a corporation, which means you're already a slave to one corporation all the way to another. So when you sign that marriage license and that contract means to give life, to have a contraction, mama, give them birth. That's what that is. So when you sign up for a job, you're giving consent and contract to your life to the company, which is a marriage agreement. That's what it is, family. That's what it is. Every contract you sign, bank, school, alumni, all the stuff, and all the stuff you learn in college, how has it prepared you for the future? Except nurses and doctors, mechanics, these things. What other industry is good too? Masonry, you know what I'm saying? Architect and all that stuff. The stuff you can make a living with. You know, people who got forklift license and stuff like that. You get a trade. Hey, I'll put it like this. I'd rather, if I was to do it all over again, I really would have got a trade. and made more money. Probably what, as an electrician or something? That's what I would have done. All this stuff about getting a college degree is not going to save you, because you may be Dr. such and such, but your doctorate degree does not return to your nationality. It's okay to get an education, but it's good to have a trade. Do you know that the grandmothers who were born in the 1920s and grandfathers who were born before that, do you know they had a trade? They were not the most educated people with degrees and stuff, but they knew how to make money. Grandmothers and grandfathers who knew how to make money would also get involved in real estate. Real estate by buying property and renting it out to the people, and that's how the mortgage is being paid. That's how they did it. These things, family, I strongly suggest, get your degree and all that stuff. That's all good, but family, sisters, y'all need to learn how to sew. Sew clothes, make your own stuff. Make your own cuisines, make your own soap, sell it. Shoot, the so-called Filipinos are doing it, so-called Puerto Ricans are doing it, so-called Guamanese are doing it, so-called black people are doing it. Be industrious. Build your own business. And while you build your own business, you gotta work a little bit 9 to 5 to earn extra money, though. That's truly important. But I need everyone to be mindful of what you do. The food that we eat is not best quality. It will mess you up mentally. People wonder why people have bipolar disorder and PTSD. It's because of the preservatives and the poison in the food. The poison in the immunization shots. I need you all to be mindful of everything you do. Weapons of mental destruction. All this stuff that's going on right now, clubbing and all this other stuff, this is what Europeans do. They want to go get a man cave. Well, I'm sorry, Asiatics, Moorish people don't have caves. We have palaces. The caves is for the Europeans. It's best to have your little trail under your belt, so that way you can be able to survive off of and learn. That family within itself, I speak to you as truth. I need everyone to understand that go ahead and get your education, but go get a trade. Getting a trade will make you more independent. You could do different things with sewing. You can make clothes. You can make drapes. This is what my grandmother did. She had multiple jobs. That's how she was able to keep money in the pockets. And now, these young people some of these young people want to do is go out and party, be a gangster, be dumb and go do crooked things and not do nothing positive with your life. Do you realize that gangbanging started on a plantation? That the slaveholder would give people alcohol and have them fight each other? They get a kick out of it. They will burn people alive, feed the babies to the alligators, That's where you got alligator shoes, alligator purses, and all that stuff. Don't buy that garbage. That's garbage. You're not gonna catch me wearing no alligator shoes. After I learned the history of it, I partaketh not. You, my people, have to understand that you are under some type of European hypnosis. All this sagging your pants, all the sisters who showing off their flesh, is gonna get you into more trouble. But what you must understand is that your thinking is what causes you to be a slave mind, to have low self-esteem. Low self-esteem is what leads you to lust after things that's not important. I'm not saying having a job is not important, but have a business on the side where you can sell stuff, family. Get yourself in tune, get yourself right. Don't wait too late. Islam, family, this is all I have to say to you at this time. I want you all to do me a favor. Think everything through. Make sure that you got a plan for you and your family. Make sure you have 90 days supply worth of food. Make sure you have a generator. Make sure you have a portable stove, portable washing machine, something. Keep yourself in tune, family. I will repeat myself. And that's the words of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Don't worry about the P. Diddy, and all this distraction. Don't let this presidential election overtake you and what you got to do. Prepare yourself for a war, because it will happen, family. So, I'm about to sign out. Greet y'all in peace. I greet you in love. Islam.